Hello students, welcome back to AIMS India live sessions. Here we have started to discuss about matter chapter. We are discussing about matter chapter from few days onwards. In that already you have seen some points from that. They are what is matter, with which it is made up of, how it is classified, what are the different types of categorizations, how matter is physically classified, how matter is chemically classified, about physical classification and different states of matter we discussed, and about chemical classification also you have seen like pure and impure substances. In the pure again elements and compounds. About homogeneous, heterogeneous we are going to discuss later. So this is about matter we have seen already. In this in the physical classification of matter we studied majorly there are three types of matter, three states of matter majorly. They are solids, liquids and gases. Out of these the gases are having some speciality, that is they can be diffused. When compared to solids and liquids there are some specific properties for the gases, that is one of them is they can be compressed to a large extent. Isn't it children? We discussed about it. A large quantity of water can be compressed and can be kept in a small bottle. This compression is very large for gases. One more special property, they can be expanded to a large quantity again. In the reverse of this, a small quantity of gas if you take, if you open the lid of the container, it expands to the large quantity of a place. They can expand to a large quantity. These are some properties. One more property is special property of gases is they can diffuse very nicely. Diffusion means what we said, they can intermix one into another easily, very easily. The molecules of one gas can mix with other molecules, the molecules of other gas very easily. What kind of gas it might be, irrespective of their properties and nature. They mix immediately. This kind of property of gas is called diffusion. Intermixing of gas molecules is called diffusion. And the spreading property is also coming under diffusion. What does that mean, the spreading property? If you take some gas molecules here, they can immediately spread into the entire available volume to them. Very fine example for this diffusion, what we say, if you take some perfume bottle, if you open the lid of the perfume bottle at the corner of the room, the fragrance of that perfume can be absorbed and inhaled by the people who are there in the entire house. How it is being happened? The perfume gas molecules are spreading immediately to the entire available volume. That is called diffusion. So because of these special properties of gases, the study of gases can be done by using certain laws. So about these gas laws we are going to discuss now. The behavior of gases and the gas laws we are going to see now here. Okay, children? Yes, these are related to some gas laws. The behavior of the gases can be explained by showing certain quantitative relationship between the mass, pressure, volume and temperature. Yes, so to study about the behavior of gases, the behavior of gases is related by using certain physical quantities like mass, pressure, volume and temperature. Based upon the relation between these quantities, the nature of a gas is measured. The state of gas can be explained by these four variables. Yes, these four are variables for a gas, means they can be changed. Mass of the gas can be changed by adding some quantity, and the pressure also can be changed by applying conditions. Even volume and temperature also can be changed for a gas. So these are called as the measurable properties of the gases, or which are variable properties. They may change. Their relationships are known by certain laws. So the relation between these quantities, what are those? Mass, pressure, volume and temperature. Between these there are certain relations. The relations between these properties are known by certain laws which are called as gas laws. So the gas laws are by changing the pressure or temperature of a gas, its volume also changes. Yeah, there is some interrelation between these properties like pressure, volume and temperature. So if one is changed, the others also will be changed. The nature of the change is almost the same for all the gases. Therefore, many scientists studied them in detail and gave some laws, which are known as gas laws. So, among these properties of the gases, there are certain relations. If one of these properties being changed, the others also being altered. So these are almost the same for all the gases. So many scientists, they have studied about these relations between these properties, how they are changing. If one is changing, how the remaining are changing. So they have studied the relations between these properties. Then they have given certain laws, which we are calling now as gas laws. So this is a little new for us, children. So observe carefully. We are going to see certain gas laws now, which are very useful for you even in the higher classes also. From this chapter, we get certain problems in the competitive examinations also based upon these gas laws. So observe carefully about these gas laws. One of the gas laws, the first one is Boyle's law. The volume of certain quantity of gas is decreased with increase in pressure. Yes, when uh, pressure is increased, then the volume of gas will be reduced. Yes, we told the gas can be compressed. What is meaning of compression here? Applying pressure on the gas so that the volume of the gas will be reduced. This behavior was generalized for all gases by Robert Boyle in 1662. So the first this property of changing of volume by applying pressure was studied and given certain law by the scientist Robert Boyle. The generalized statement is known as Boyle's law. See, here we can understand the property of gas of the decrease or increase of volume by applying pressure. So what is happening when pressure is not applied, volume is more. If pressure is applied, what happens? They are pressing this. They pressed this, they compressed the gas. Then what happened? The volume of the gas is reduced. So if pressure is increased, volume of the gas is reduced. If pressure is reduced, volume of the gas is increased here. So the relation between these two, volume and pressure, was studied and given a law based upon this by the scientist Boyle. So in the honor of his name, this law is called Boyle's law. Okay. The volume of a given mass of gas is inversely proportional to its pressure at any given temperature. Yes, at a particular temperature, the volume of a gas is inversely proportional to pressure applied on that. If pressure is low, volume will be more. If much pressure is applied, volume will be reduced. What we can say relation between these two now? Pressure and volume, they are inversely proportional. If one is more, the other one will be less. That is definite statementally it is given here. Let us see once again. The volume of a given mass of gas. So certain quantity of gas is taken at a particular temperature. For this, the volume is inversely proportional to pressure applied. If pressure is less, volume will be more. If pressure is more, means more pressure is applied, then volume will be less. Both are inversely proportional one to another at a given temperature. If a given mass of gas occupies a volume V and pressure P at a temperature T, means temperature is constant. So then the relation can be given like this. So according to Boyle's law, V is inversely proportional to P, or V is directly proportional to 1 by P. We can say in two ways this. So this is called proportionality symbol. We know that V is directly proportional to 1 by P, or in other ways you can say V is inversely proportional to P. Finally here, V represents volume, P represents pressure. Volume is inversely proportional to pressure because when pressure is increased, volume is reduced. If pressure is reduced, volume is increased. Both are inversely proportional one to another. This is called proportionality symbol. To remove this proportionality symbol, what do? We take a constant. So then it becomes V is equal to 1 by P into K. where this K is called proportionality constant. Okay, children? So V is equal to 1 by P into K, where K is proportionality constant, which is taken to remove the proportionality symbol. From this you can understand pressure or volume both are, pressure and volume both are inversely proportional to a gas at a given temperature. So if you bring this by cross multiplication, bring this P here, what happens? PV is equal to K. This is called Boyle's law equation. So at different conditions also it can be taken. Now let us see that. If the temperature of a gas is kept constant such that its volume changes from V1 to V2 when corresponding pressures are P1 and P2. That means suppose a gas is taken at a particular temperature, its volume is calculated and it is considered as V1, and at that condition the pressure is P1. Now the pressure is changed to P2, means whether increased or decreased pressure. Then volume also will be changed, that is considered as V2. Now let us see the relation between these all. Now according to Boyle's law, P1 V1 is equal to K, because we told the product of pressure and volume is equal to constant K. So at the initial condition, pressure is P1, initial volume is V1. So the product of these two is equal to K. At the second condition also, the pressure and volume product is equal to K. So from these two, what we can say, both are equal to K. P1 V1 is equal to K. P2 V2 is also equal to K. So from these two, we can say these two are equal. P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So this is known as Boyle's law equation. What did you say? Pressure and volume are both are inversely proportional to one to another for a given mass of gas at a fixed temperature. This is Boyle's law statement. To say definitionally or statementally, it is the volume of a given mass of gas is inversely proportional to pressure applied at the given temperature. That we said P is or V is volume, V is inversely proportional to pressure, or P is directly proportional to 1 by P. What did we say? To remove this proportionality, we have taken a constant called K, K into 1 by P. So if you cross multiply, what happens? This P into V is equal to K. So at any case, product of pressure and volume for a gas will be equal to a constant. So based upon that, at different conditions we take in this P1 V1 at certain condition, that is equal to K. At some other condition P2 V2, these two product also will be equal to K. So by these two equations we got that P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So for a gas at a given temperature, the product of pressure and volume will be always same. The quantity of product of pressure and volume will be same. Pressure might be reduced or volume. If pressure is reduced, volume will be increased. If pressure is increased, volume will be reduced. So the product of these will be finally equal at all conditions. That's the meaning of this P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. So this is called Boyle's law equation. Based upon this, we will be getting certain problems in the examinations. So out of these four conditions, any three they give, and they will ask us to calculate the fourth one by using this equation. So now let us see some solved example on this Boyle's law equation. See the question given like this: a given mass of gas is allowed to expand from a volume of 250 ml to 500 ml. So the pressure of the gas after the expansion is found to be 3 atmospheres. What was the pressure of the gas before expansion? They are asking. Okay, children, try to understand the question, what they have given and what they are asking to find out. If you understand these 2 points, the problematic part will be very easy for you. First, let us read once again the question. A given mass of gas is allowed to expand from 250 ml to 500 ml. So, what are these two volumes? Initially, the volume is being 250 ml and it is changed to 500 ml. Now, one more they have given. The pressure of the gas after expansion. After expansion, the pressure is being 3 atmospheres. So, what is this pressure? Is it initial pressure or after the expansion? After the expansion. So it is called final pressure. Now they are asking the pressure before the expansion, means they are asking to find out initial pressure. So these are the three quantities they have given. Now we have to find out the unknown fourth quantity. For that, for any problematic questions in the chemistry, you better try to habituate this writing the given data. From the question we can understand certain data is being given and they will be asking to find out certain quantity. So if you are able to understand these, we can do all problems in the chemistry. So writing data, analyzing the data from the given question is very important. It is one of the important parts in the problem solving. So first let us write the data from this. What are given? Initial volume V1. What is a 250 ml? What is the final volume they have given? They told volume changed from 250 ml to 500 ml. So final volume is 500 ml. And they asked to find out initial pressure. That is the pressure before expansion they are asking to find out. So it is not known. It is unknown quantity. So we are going to find it out. This unknown quantity, we have to find it. They have given the pressure after the expansion or the final pressure they have given as 3 atmospheres. Now only one unknown quantity is there. Now let us try to solve this problem as we came to know the data given. Let us try to give a solution for this. So according to Boyle's law, we have a formula or equation that is P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2, where P1 is initial pressure, V1 is initial volume, and P2 is final pressure, and V2 is final volume. Out of these all, only one quantity is to be found. Remaining three are given already as the data given. So from this, we have to find out initial pressure. Only it is the unknown quantity here. Remaining three are given already in the problem. Now we have to find out only P1. So if we keep this P1 as subject and if you bring this V1 this side, what happens? It comes to denominator. Now this equation becomes P1 is equal to P2 V2 by V1. Because these three quantities are known. Just we have to substitute them in this. Say final pressure is given as 3 atmospheres, final volume is given as 500 ml, initial volume is given as 250 ml. So we have substituted the quantities here. Observe that the units must be same before and after the reaction. So here, that is why I have taken directly here. Volume is given in ml before and after. So it is taken directly. Okay. Now if you do simplification, we get it as 6 because it goes here twice. We know, I think you know how to simplify the problems. So 3 to 6. We get finally 6 atmospheres. What is the 6 atmospheres? Initial pressure. So the pressure of the gas before expansion is 6 atmospheres. So initially at 6 atmospheres pressure, volume is being 250 ml. If the pressure is reduced to 3 atmospheres, what happened? Sorry, initial pressure is 6 atmospheres and the final pressure is 3 atmospheres. What happened to the volume? 500. So it is correct regarding Boyle's law. What is explained by Boyle's law? If the pressure is more, volume will be less. If pressure is less, volume will be more. Both are inversely proportional one to another. Here, initially, the pressure we found as 6 atmospheres. It is being high. That is why volume is less at that condition. If pressure is reduced, it became 3 atmospheres. Then what happened? Volume is increased. Okay, children? This is about Boyle's law. Next, one more law, that is Charles' law. In the year 1787, Jacques Charles generalized his observation dealing with the effect of temperature on volume of gas or volume of a given mass of gas. So Charles, he given one more law which is relating the relation between the temperature and volume of a given mass of gas. This is given at a fixed pressure. So Boyle's law is given at a constant temperature. So by taking temperature as constant, Boyle given relation between the pressure and volume of a gas. Charles, he given the relation between the temperature and volume of a gas at constant pressure. So by keeping constant pressure, how this volume is changed when temperature is changed. These studies were done by Charles and given as a law. Let us see that how it is given. He observed that at constant temperature, the volume of a given mass of gas increases by increasing temperature. That quantity also is given. For every 1 degree rise in temperature, 1 by 270 third of its volume is being increased. Anyhow, finally what we have to understand here, when temperature is increased, the volume of a gas is increased at constant pressure. So temperature and volume both are directly proportional. Temperature increases, volume increases. If temperature decreases, volume decreases at constant pressure. This was studied and given by Charles. Let V naught be the volume of the gas at 0 degrees Celsius and Vt is the volume of the gas at T degrees Celsius temperature. So then the relation is given like this. So the final volume Vt is equal to initial volume V1, V naught, and we are telling by increasing temperature, T degrees Celsius temperature, its volume is increased by 1 by 273 times. So this is increase in volume. So the final volume Vt becomes the sum of these two. According to Charles' law, the volume of a given mass of dry gas at constant pressure is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. This is a actual Charles' law. To simply to say, the volume of a gas is directly proportional to temperature. When temperature increases, volume increases. Temperature decreases, volume decreases. This occurs at constant pressure. See here in the diagram they have given the temperature is less, volume is being less. If temperature is increased, volume also increased. Both are directly proportional. So from this we can say volume V is directly proportional to temperature T. To remove the proportionality, here also we can take a constant V is equal to K into T, where K is proportionality constant. K is called proportionality constant. In the K equation, mathematical equations, there is any proportionality. To remove the proportionality, we take certain constants. They are called proportionality constants. So here K is a proportionality constant, which where and volume is volume, V is volume and T is temperature. So this same can be written like this. If T is taken this side to the left hand side, it becomes V by T is equal to K, where V by T. So the volume and temperature ratio will be always constant for a gas at particular pressure. This is Charles' law. So if we consider V1 is the initial volume and V2 is the final volume and T1 is the initial temperature and T2 is the final temperature. So we can say, we told already V by T is equal to constant, isn't it? V by T is constant, we told according to Charles' law. So if the volume is V1 and T1 is the temperature, then V1 by T1 is equal to K. If these two are changed to certain other, V2 and T2, then also V2 by T2 is also will be same as K, because we are telling the ratio of volume and temperature is always constant for a gas at particular pressure. Now from these two we can say V1 by T1 is equal to these two, as these two are equal to K. Now these two we can equate. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. This we can say as gas law or Charles law equation. V1 by V2 or V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. The same can be written like this also. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. Just we are equating these two. These two we are equating. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. It also can be written like this. Both are same. This is called Charles law equation. So here also, this also we get in problems in the competitive examinations. Out of these four variables, they may give any 3 and they may ask for calculating other fourth one. Let us see some solid example on this also, children. Here is the question. We try to write the data given and then you can solve the problem very easily. Data is nothing but the given quantities and the quantities which you are asking. We are able to identify these all, half part of the problem is over there itself. You can try to understand very easily. So now we see here 250 ml of oxygen gas was collected at a 27 degrees Celsius temperature. If the volume of a gas was reduced to 100 ml, calculate the temperature to which the gas is cooled. All these changes were done at 1 atmosphere pressure. So they told finally these all changes are occurring at constant pressure, that is 1 atmosphere. So pressure is constant. So this comes under Charles law. Now the volume is changed from what is the initial volume 250 ml they have given. Finally it is changed to 100 ml. Initial temperature they have given 27 degrees Celsius. So they are asking to find out the final temperature. This is the data. Let us write the data. Initial volume 50 ml, final volume 100 ml, initial temperature 27 degrees Celsius. This is very important, children. We have to understand all the problems related to temperature will be done by taking all the temperature quantities in Kelvin temperature. This is called Kelvin temperature, which is also called absolute temperature. So all the quantities of temperature should be in the Kelvin units. In the Kelvin units only we take these into calculations. So even though in the problem or in the questions if the temperature is given in degrees Celsius, first the degree Celsius temperature should be converted into Kelvin temperatures. So this conversion of degree Celsius temperature into Kelvins we are going to learn further. Just let us say simply. Suppose x degrees is given. To convert this x degree Celsius temperature into Kelvins, this x degree should be added with 273. Then this will be converted into Kelvin degree, Kelvin temperature. So to convert degree Celsius temperature into Kelvins, that quantity should be added with 273 degrees Celsius. Why? Because we know at 0 degrees Celsius temperature, the Kelvin units will be 273. There is difference between these two, 273, 0 degree Celsius and Kelvin temperatures. Between these two, there is 273 units difference. So that is why to convert degree Celsius temperature into Kelvin temperature, we have to add 273 to the quantity of degree Celsius. Then we get the original temperature in Kelvins. So here what happened, they have given initial temperature as 27 degrees Celsius. So to this if we add 273, 27 plus 273, how much it is, children? It is equal to 300. So this degree Celsius temperature will be converted into Kelvin temperature by adding 273. So all the temperatures should be taken in Kelvin units before doing calculations related to this all. That you remember, children. Temperature, if it is given in Kelvins, directly we can go for the calculations. If the temperature is given in any other quantities like degree Celsius, first that should be converted into Kelvins before doing problems. Remember this. So here it is given by converting into Kelvins, 300 Kelvins. Final temperature they are asking to calculate. Now 3 quantities are given. The fourth quantity we have to calculate. Now according to Charles law, we have this equation V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2. Out of these 4 quantities, they have given 3. So if you substitute those 3, now what is that? We have to find out final temperature. If you bring this side and if you bring this all this side, it becomes T2 is equal to V2 into T1 by V1. Just we are keeping T2 as subject side. Okay, children. Now what happened? T2 is equal to we are just substituting these all values. V2 value 100, T1 is 300, V1 is 250. These all values we have substituted. Now it is going to be equal to 120 kelvins. So final temperature is 120 kelvins. Just we have substituted all the quantities. Now the final temperature T2 is 120 kelvins. If we want to convert this Kelvin temperature again into degrees Celsius, we have to subtract 273 degrees Celsius. To convert degrees Celsius into kelvins, we have to add 273. If you want to convert this kelvins into degrees Celsius, we have to subtract the same quantity, that is 273. So from this 120 kelvins, if we subtract 273, it converts into degrees Celsius. So the final temperature of the gas will be minus 153 degrees Celsius temperature. So this is about Charles law. One more law is there, that is called combined gas law, the combination of these two. Since volume is proportional to temperature and inversely proportional to pressure, so from these two gas laws, what we studied in the Boyle's law, we studied that volume is inversely proportional to pressure. In the Charles law, we studied that volume is directly proportional to temperature. So if you relate these all directly once, the three variables can be expressed together for situations in which the amount of gas is kept constant but pressure, volume and temperature are varying. So for a given amount of gas, these three can be related at once. That we can say combined gas law. You can see that this can be expressed mathematically as P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. What is that? Let us see once again. For a given amount of gas, volume is inversely proportional to pressure and directly proportional to temperature. So from the Boyle's law, we can say volume is inversely proportional to pressure and it is directly proportional to temperature according to Charles law. So if you relate these all, what happens if we combine these all? Volume is directly proportional to temperature and inversely proportional to pressure. Isn't children? So to remove this proportionality, if you take a constant, V is equal to K into T by P. We can say P V by T is equal to constant. So PV by T is equal to constant. If you apply the same at different conditions, P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. This is called combined gas law, which is relating three quantities of a gas. The combination of gas laws, two Boyle's law and Charles law, is called combined gas law. Based upon this also, they may give problems in the examinations. So out of these 6 variables, they may give any 5. They may ask for the calculating the sixth one. Okay, this is about combined gas law. Okay, children, what we have learned till now? Boyle's law is P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2, which is relating pressure and volume of a gas at constant temperature. Charles law is V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2, or V1 by V2 is equal to T1 by T2 at constant pressure. So this is Charles law. See, this is also given T1 plus 273, T2 plus 273. If the temperature is given in degrees Celsius, then that is taken plus 273. Then it is totally will be in Kelvin units. Okay, children. Before doing calculations in the Charles law problems, the temperature should be converted into Kelvin units. Then only we have to start doing calculation. The combined gas law is P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. So based upon this, let us see now some assessment, some questions based upon these three. Okay, ready children? First question. Boyle's law is stated at constant. Yes, just now we have seen Boyle's law is stated at a constant. Yes, options are temperature, pressure, volume, all of these. You can give your answer, children. What is the correct answer? Yes, it is Boyle's law. No, Boyle's law is given at constant temperature. First question is being on Okay, they have given wrong animation. Now here, Boyle's law is stated at constant temperature because Boyle's law is related between the quantities of pressure and volume of a gas at constant temperature. So at constant temperature, how these two are being varied. If one changed, how the other one is changing. These studies were done by Boyle at constant temperature. How it is given, pressure or the volume of a gas is inversely proportional to its pressure at a constant temperature. If the temperature is constant, the volume and pressure are related like this. Volume is inversely proportional to its pressure. So Boyle's law is stated at constant temperature, not pressure. It is wrong. At a constant temperature. T A is correct answer. Oh, already yes, correct answer is given. Good. Now next question. Mathematically, Charles' law is written as. How Charles' law can be given? How the Charles' law is given mathematically? Between which variables this is given? Charles' law is given at constant pressure. So it is relating volume and temperature of a gas. Volume is directly proportional to temperature. V is directly proportional to T. So to remove the proportionality, it is taken a constant. V is equal to Kt. This can be given as V by T is equal to constant. So at a different conditions, if it is taken, so what will be correct answer? Let us see options. P1 V1 is equal to P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2, or V1 plus T1 is equal to V2 plus T2, V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2, or V1 T1 is equal to V2 T2. What is the correct relations, children? Mathematical expression for the Charles law. Yes. Can you answer? Yes, it is. V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2 as written here. So V by T is equal to constant. If you say at one condition V1 by T1 is equal to constant, at some other condition if you change these or if you alter these conditions, it will happen there also V1 by T2, V2 by T2 is equal to constant. If you in these two constant is being same. So if you relate these two, V1 by T1 is equal to V2 by T2, we get. It is the Charles law mathematical expression. Okay. Next question. The combined gas law is expressed mathematically as P1 by T1 is equal to P2 by T2, V1 by V2 is equal to N1 by N2, R1 by R2 is equal to under root of M2 by M1, P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. What is the combined gas law expression, children? Yes. Good. It is P1 V1 by T1 is equal to P2 V2 by T2. So based upon this formula, we can see some more problems also. So as time up, we can stop here. Let us see some more problems based upon this later. Okay. Thank you for watching this video, children. Please subscribe our channel and visit our website aimstoday.in, that is www.aimstoday.in, for latest updates and recorded videos. Don't forget to subscribe the channel, children, so that you will get updates related to our upcoming videos, live sessions. Okay, thank you.